Clock has been started. Oh, hey, we got LC744 in the chat. What's going on, brother? Yeah, that one's super fucking loose. This one right here, that one feels. Yeah. Look at those. Look at those lobes, though. It's fucking toast. All right, so I want to see kind of what these are right here. Five. It's more of a 4. Could be like an 11 or a 12. It's pretty loose though. That valve might be sticking open. It's very possible. Let's see. We'll use the same thing. Yeah, these things end up going to trash. I don't know what the spec is on these ones right here. Let's try 10. Still pretty loose. This one right here is a little tighter. Let's try 11. I wonder why this side right here super loose. So that's going to be 10, and what's this one? It's like 12 or 13. It's like 10. Is that like 11? I don't know. These cam lobes are really fucked, so it's like 11. So this is like 11, 13, 10, and 4. Oh, getting oil all over the place. Happens every time I measure valves. Let's go ahead and go. Let's go 12 to 14. This one's 10. This one's. We got excessive cam scoring. Okay. Leave that one. Let's see what else. This again. Okay. Okay, so technically we should already be at top dead center. Let's see. Go ahead, thread this in. Oh. Kind of see that little dot on the inner side of the sprocket near the base. Should be lined up with that mark on the case. Right next to our broken plug cover right there. Okay, so we're all lined up. As good as we're gonna get. Make it something like that. Pull that right there at the 12 o'clock position. Okay. Get some pressurized air. Let's see what we're at. So technically the valves aren't being held open, but valves, we'll see if they're even sealing. Another thing I kind of want to check. We'll do that right after, actually. Let me go ahead and let me go get a little straw and turn up the air compressor. Shoo! Pina coladas. Mm-hmm. Mm. All right, so I've developed a leak. Son of a bitch. It's all good. All right, let's go ahead and pressurize this son of a bitch. Hold on to your bar. And it doesn't matter because we have 100% leak. I'm not gonna be able to hear it over my. I can hear it coming out the, shouldn't need to hold on to that. Or is it bypassing the rings? I can't hear it. Hold on. Yeah, interesting. Hmm. So we're pressurizing that cylinder 60 psi, and it's going somewhere. I kind of can't tell because I have this giant air hose leak. Kind of sucks. I need to go get a new hose, but we're holding the. Should hear a change, which I don't. And then checking the exhaust, I don't feel anything. So I mean that 60 psi is going somewhere into the crankcase. Into this side, to the coolant. I have to do a cooling system pressure test. So I can hear it leaking out the oil side on the crankcase. Might be separated by a seal on the crankshaft, but this is the engine oil side right here. So more than likely bypassing these piston rings there. So I'm kind of curious as to what the cylinder looks like. I'm gonna replace my hose. Hold on, BRB. All right, so it looks like sometimes if there's too much excessive leak on the piston, it'll kind of give you a false reading if there's any leak on the piston or on the valves like the intake or exhaust. But we have pretty much 100% leaks, so it's going somewhere. It doesn't seem like it's really coming out the valves. It mainly seems like it's bypassing that piston. So kind of the next thing we can check. Damn. Yeah. Let's see. I get to see first. Will I fit in the hole? Typically not. Let's go ahead and let's go about. Oh, 360 degrees out. Where'd the piston go? Piston's still right there. What the fuck? Oh, that's the issue. I can't stick my Borescope all the way down on some of these. It's like it's like a 6mm. I need like a 5mm. Because I think the threads are like 10 if I'm not mistaken. No, it's like right there. It's like just a little. It's kind of surprising that it doesn't fit. At least I don't think. Am I not trying hard enough? See something on the top of that piston. Looks like it has a brand new piston. That piston looks super clean. Let me bring it back up again. Hold on. I want to see this right here. Mm. I need to buy a different Borescope camera. This one's good for like certain size spark plug holes. Oops. Hmm. I can see the relief. So it almost looks like it has a new. Looks like it has a new piston in it. I don't know. Hmm. Oh, there's something on top of the piston. What's on top of the piston? There's like a liquid. What kind of piston does this have? Oh shit. Interesting. Does this have a race piston in it? What the fuck am I looking at? It doesn't look like the stock piston. Am I tripping? Is it just the... It's weird that it has that flat top right there. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Huh. Interesting. But I saw liquid on top of it, like oil almost, which is kind of interesting. And there was water on the spark plug. So I almost wonder if this thing has like a blown head gasket or the head gasket's starting to leak. It's very possible that it was overheated. Hmm. So what's the diagnosis on this thing? Probably that valve looks like it's going all the way down. I wonder if I can't see the valves opening and closing on this one, it looks like. Hmm. What kind of fucking piston is that? I want to know what kind of piston that is. It doesn't look like the stock piston. And it looks new, like there's no carbon buildup on it. Damn, I wish I had a slightly better camera. I'm probably going to invest in one. Usually this one right here does the trick. These smaller spark plug hole threads. Dude, I almost wish, I don't know, I was thinking maybe I could like detach this and put this in my lathe, and I just need to shave it down, probably like, I don't know, I'd have to mic it, whatever this OD is, and then I'm pretty sure it's like within a couple thousandths. If I could just like shave that down just a little bit. But they sell some where they have like a little toggle where it like orientates the, just kind of nice if you want to like look at the sidewall. You usually can get a pretty good view from the top. I mean, if you could look up to see the combustion, top of the combustion head, that'd be kind of nice. You can see the valve faces, intake and exhaust. See if anything's like, sometimes on a really good camera like a Snap-on, you can actually see if the valves are closing all the way or not. Especially if you like stick a camera light down, and this one you can shut off the, if you shut off the light on the camera and then you shine a light down the intake while it's at top dead center, usually you can use like a light to see if the gap is large enough, light will pass through it, which is kind of interesting. um, so there's all sorts of techniques, but I don't know, I'm seeing a new piston in there from what it looks like. We have a lot of leak down. I'm seeing a lot of blow by. Looks like it's coming out of the crankcase, so mm, hmm, I don't know. I mean, 28 psi is yikes, and just those cams. Hmm. I know compression on, well, on these things. I know on the Yamahas, I've seen them. I've even seen on some of the Yamahas, like I want to say in one scenario it had like 0 or like 10, 20 psi and it still ran. And I was kind of fucking amazed. But I've seen, I've experimented, and 50 psi seems to be kind of like the bare minimum, I would say, where it seems like it's pretty easy to start, pretty easy to tune. So maybe it'll run on 28 psi. I'm not sure. It's just the fact though, right now, and then I see something inside the combustion chamber. I don't know if that's water or not. It might have a blown head gasket. I'm not sure how that water would have even gotten there because the intake's dry. There's no water in the intake, just a little bit of oil, dirt. I mean, there's no water in the intake track here, no signs of water. So I'm kind of curious how water would have, it looks a little too like, it doesn't look like oil wiping away on the inside when I was looking at the camera. It almost looks like water on top of the piston. And there's only usually one way for water to get in there without like a cooling jacket or channel being cracked in the casting. And that would typically be like a ruptured head gasket. So there's a possibility that this has a ruptured head gasket and, probably something going on with the piston rings, a lot of blow by on the piston rings and cylinders. So I think the next recommendation on this right here is going to be top end teardown and inspection. It's probably going to need a new cam. Sometimes the cool thing about these Hondas is the bearings are part of the cam. So usually, as long as the valves don't drop or get too damaged, sometimes you can even reuse the valves, just leave it as is, replace the cam. But we'll have to see. Usually, I'm going to recommend tear down the cylinder head, inspect the valves, see if those got overheated. If they look nice and hot like that. The other thing too, check the crankshaft, check to see if there's any scoring, overheating. And that's going to be kind of a clear indication if this thing was abused or ran low on oil. And if it was ran low on oil, then it's kind of, I mean, you can put a top end, but it's not, I don't recommend it versus, a top end that just wore out from time. Tell an owner of the bike, we can go ahead and just do a top end on it. It's not highly recommended on a used bottom end, but if it didn't fail catastrophically, if compression was lost gradually over time versus, oil starvation or dropping a valve, you know, ingesting something into the intake, something bad causing the top end to lose compression rapidly. Um, Doing a top end repair on something like that is kind of risky. It's a liability, could lose a lot of money, have it fail in a couple hours. So I guess next step would be see how bad the oil starvation was, because that's what it kind of looks like to me, oil starvation. And do a top end teardown and just kind of go from there. Uh, I think it's gonna be motor work, but while we're at it, there is one more thing we're gonna do. Let's go ahead and check the carburetor. I think we can check the carburetor on this one while we're at it. Yeah, should be able to do it. Yeah, this thing looks like it has a little moderate engine damage. And it has that piston. I don't know. I kind of want to look up, after I finish this live stream, maybe I'll look that up. See what a stock piston looks like. Nope. You almost need like a... That smells pretty old. Let's see. Oh, I dropped that. So it looks a little dirty on the inside. Probably been sitting for a while. Don't look too dirty. I mean, if we're gonna do a top end rebuild, for sure, want to do a carburetor work, probably replace all the gaskets, do a full FCR rebuild. Has a performance pipe, so we'd want to pull out the carburetor, see what kind of what kind of jetting. Probably recommend right off the bat just performance jetting. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's going to be it though. I have a pretty good idea. I'm going to say, I mean, I feel confident now at this point. I mean, just from seeing like the damage, I mean, the jets, if the car, I'm pretty sure we could clean the carburetor and it may not make a difference on this one right here. Just the fact I couldn't even get to pop or turn over. And I feel like there's water in there for whatever reason. I keep feeling like there's water inside the combustion chamber. So as I rotate the piston, I noticed saw like a clear liquid. I can see the release for the piston. Oh, okay, I see. It's no fuck. I just had a weird angle. There's like some scratches on top of the piston. Those are kind of weird. Oh, I can see the valves opening up. Look at the valves opening up right there. And then they close. You see that? There's like liquid in there, I think. Maybe not. There's like some type of liquid on there, and I don't think that's oil. It's like a little bit of liquid on that cylinder. You see those little, it's like little scratches and liquid. I don't think that's. I think it's water. It could be water. I'm not sure how water would have even gotten in there. The cylinder, I can see the cylinder walls. You can kind of see like the side right there at the edge of the piston. Pretty sure that's the. Oh no, you can't. You can just barely see the corner. You can't necessarily see the walls, but you can see the top of the piston pretty good. It looks pretty clean. Like there's like no carbon buildup on it. I see some random scratches. Looks like water. I highly doubt. I mean, it could be oil, but I didn't spray anything down the cylinder, so I'm kind of unsure. But nonetheless, we still kind of have low compression. So I'd hate to say like, oh, let's just do a carburetor rebuild, and then this thing still runs like crap or it's hard to start. I don't necessarily think the valves are damaged, but I won't fully know until I tear it down. And the only reason why I'm skeptical is because of how overheated this cam is right here. Like that right there is like oil starvation. So we'll see how the cylinder looks on the inside. Crank journal surfaces on the crankshaft, pin, piston, all that good stuff. If we can get approval for teardown, but yeah, that's pretty much it on this video. Another 35 minutes troubleshooting. Let me clock it. Okay, I got about an hour into this bad boy, but a little over an hour. And depending on where we go, we'll reassemble it and ship it out the door, or we'll proceed and tear down and see if we're gonna do a top end on this. These radiators look pretty crushed, so sometimes with these radiators being like that bent, I'm gonna recommend, especially on a new top end, you won't even be able to
to mount the fender shroud, gas tank shrouds to it properly. But especially on a new top end, if there's like in these tubes that go across, cooling tubes, the jackets, they're not jackets, they're actually, they don't go across, they go up and down. There are these fins right here. The fluid actually goes through there, and then these tubes, they're like hollow rectangular tubes, if I'm not mistaken, and then between it's the cooling fins, which basically, you know, conduct heat to the cooling fins, and then air, you know, removes the heat. That's how the cooling's done. It's basically convection, if I'm not mistaken, or radiation, convection radiation, one of those forms of heat removal. But sometimes these will crack or have like a little micro leak here. You won't know it, and if it doesn't hold pressure, it'll eventually, the coolant will move properly through the system and it'll overheat, and you can toast another top end. Usually it won't be like oil starvation like this, but it'll typically be like a ruptured head gasket, or, you know, sometimes you could even seize your cylinder depending on how hard you run it. Seize your piston in your cylinder. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I think we're gonna call it for right here. We know our valve clearances. Something's going on with our valves, so I'm also kind of skeptical sometimes what I'll see here on I'll turn this way, on these valve clearances. I'm not sure what they are right off the top of my head, but I know like intake is typically like around 3 to 4, maybe 5 thousandths, and then exhaust is typically like around 8 to 10, maybe 11 thousandths tops, maybe 12 on certain bikes. But this one right here, it's like maybe a 12 to 14. 11 thousandths felt pretty loose in there. So sometimes what I'll see, and it was kind of hard to notice right now as I was cranking over the bike, is that could just be like a shim, or sometimes like what'll even happen is like the valve will just get stuck, like the bucket itself will get stuck, and it's kind of hard to tell, but usually it's just best to pull it apart. Once you see damage like this, you need to pull it apart and find out like how extensive it is if you want to rebuild it. Because if you don't build it properly, these are high compression, like 11.5 to 1 motors, spinning pretty fast, especially this single cam here, spinning as fast as the crankshaft. So you know, if things aren't put together properly or have good clearances, they usually come apart pretty quick, and you end up, you know, having to rebuild the bike again. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And as LC7444 said, damn Hondas and their valves, because yeah, it's gonna either be that or the piston. So all right guys, thanks for watching. If you just found this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, share this video with your friends, and stay tuned for the next one.